Um, the next thing you want to YouTube is Jordan Maxwell, Occult World Leaders. And that there's a lot of information in regards to there, and I cannot keep up with Jordan Maxwell. That man is so intelligent that, and he can say it a lot better than I could. So I'm just basically saying, okay, this is part of the course, and I don't want any information to get lost. Like if I come out and try to repeat his words, they're not going to come out nearly as good as getting it right from the horse's mouth. So that is part of the homework there. The next documentary you want to be familiar with is Jordan Maxwell, Magic Dominates the World. And that's this one here. And as I said before, in order to upgrade the world's government, and we have to be able to recognize the problems and exactly what we're dealing with in order to upgrade it, and that will help with that. The next one is Jordan Maxwell, Egypt in the New Millennium. And I don't have that one with me here, but you can find that. It's called Egypt in the New Millennium, and there's a lot of information that is necessary for you to understand there. The next one is Jordan Maxwell, Secret Societies, Word Meanings and Their Influence on World Events. And that's this one right here. So, and that is very, very important to understand the things in that. And like I said, I mean, all this information, you're going to be most likely, when I first got exposed to all this information, I was extremely depressed and disappointed that I wasn't informed of this earlier, but that's just the way it is. So, but it's very important to understand these things, and it's all interrelated. You know, whether you're considering a religion, the religion that you're in or used to be in, or and how one thing affects the other. The next thing you want to be familiar with is a movie called Charlie Wilson's War. And that's this movie here. And this is based on a true story. And this gives very good insight onto how the government actually works and how wars are being orchestrated and sold by the media to humanity to, you know, accept these things when we shouldn't accept these things anymore. And this is a true story, and that will help you understand how the government works on a planetary scale. Another movie that you want to be familiar with is Avatar. And that there's a lot of things that are going to connect dots and help make sense out of things, and plus it's a really good movie, and we want to try to make this course a little light and fluffy and entertaining, and that does that. So just put that as part of the course. And the last piece of homework in regards to understanding the world's government on a Jordan Maxwell level and a planetary scale is YouTube Project Camelot interviews Richard Hoagland. And that's a 3-part interview. And Richard Hoagland is well, he's a physicist, a scientist, basically a genius. And he gets into a lot of things that you know, a lot of people say, you know, when people say, well, it's national security, or it's not your job to know this, or Richard Hoagland does a very good job on just putting this information into a very common sense point of view. Whereas, you know, if you're living as a saint, and someone says it's not your job, well, if you're a saint and you're working on a planetary scale, it's your job now. And if you're familiar with it, and you're more familiar with it than the people who are working in the industry, then you don't want to take your cues from someone who's not being honest with you or withholding the truth. And Richard Hoagland is an excellent source of information to take you at a level up and beyond in regards to courage and morals, you know, beyond, up into a higher level of existence, into a higher dimension. And that does that in regards to the world's government. That's the extent, which that's a lot of homework right there I gave you. But you just want to make sure all that information's there, prepared for everyone to be exposed to it, and go from there. The next thing that you want to be familiar with at the level of a level 3 saint is you want to understand religions at a Jordan Maxwell level. So because you're working on everything with a planetary scale, you want to look at all the religions and not judge any of them. And you want to be familiar with where everybody's coming from, so you can, you know, regardless of see, I'm trying to help everybody. I'm not I don't care who you are, what color you are, what religion you are, what race you are, what your sexual preference is. I'm trying to help everybody. And in order for me to do that, I had to get exposed to information in regards to all religions. And when I first became exposed to all this different information, there's so many different religions that have so many different beliefs. It was just like overwhelming to me. I couldn't, I can't possibly comprehend all that information. But so I basically just boiled all that information down, everything that I could comprehend, and that boils down to something called astrotheology, and that goes into the root of all religions. So part of that homework is this video right here, and that's astrotheology, the root of all religions. I cannot stress how important it is to know this. I can't stress it enough. And once you realize all is one, a lot of the religions just fall away, because if they're not teaching all is one, and I can prove all is one, well, if they're not teaching it, then they're working in a paradigm less than the one I'm in, and hopefully less than the one you're in, or soon to be in. So that's part of that homework. The next piece of homework is Jordan Maxwell, Toxic Religion. This one right here. And that is extremely important. And some of this information, he's going to be saying the same things in different videos, because it's all convoluted. It's all interconnected. But it's all things that have to be known if you want to work on a planetary scale. If you choose by your own free will to work on a planetary scale and actually become a saint by these standards, you need to know this stuff. And the next one is Jordan Maxwell, Ancient Religious History plus the Dark Side. And I don't have that video handy, but it's called Ancient Religious History plus the Dark Side, and that is another one by Jordan Maxwell that you want to be familiar with. And that takes care of religions. I'm trying not to, you know, and a lot of this stuff I just had to hit a very, very low note, because in order to fix problems we have to understand that they exist. And this course is meant for your spiritual development and to raise your vibration. And But we know the importance of righteous indignation and rebuking error. So because you already know that stuff, it'll be easy for you just to absorb that information and move on with it, and just continue expanding your consciousness in ways that really benefit you and the people around you. And la-di-da. Okay, so that takes care of religion. Also, another thing, and this is what I do. Whenever I'm attempting to, if I'm attempting to expand my consciousness in any particular way, what I do is I just think, well, how does this connect to the fourth dimension? How does that connect to the next level of existence? And what about the fourth dimension is relevant to whatever I'm researching? So if anything gets too complicated, how I make sense out of it, because there's so much information, it's just, you know, it's just overwhelming. Basically, just think about the fourth dimension and how it relates to the fourth dimension. The fourth dimension is real. I've been there. I've experienced it, and then come back here. So basically, if you get so overwhelmed that you don't know what to do,